Before I start the art commission section, where I work on Ken the Nekomata's animation, I went to a flea market on Sunday, and I guess I'll show off some of what I bought, just as a palate cleanser. One of the things I got, this is a Snoopy plushie. I had a Snoopy plushie like this as a kid. I don't know if this is the same size, but that Snoopy plushie I had as a kid, I don't know what happened to it, if we threw it away or I lost it or something, but I found this, and I decided to get this as a replacement. I remember the old Snoopy plushie. I thought it was, maybe bigger than this. I didn't know if it was, the same size, but I showed this to my dad, and he was like, no, this is the same size. It's just, I guess as a kid, this plushie seemed a lot bigger in my memory. So, it feels strange to, see it wasn't as big as I remembered, but still, I'm glad to have this kind of a replacement for an old doll I lost. Kind of like the Garfield doll I have here. This was another plushie I had as a kid that I lost, and then I found a replacement. So it's nice to have these again. Snoopy canonically can use his ears like helicopter blades. I'm trying to remember which TV special that was. But I maybe it was the one where Charlie Brown is playing this football game or something, and Snoopy is doing a helicopter ears to film it or something. And I think that special ends with, it's supposed to be an important football game, but of course Lucy can't resist and pulls the football away from Charlie Brown, and everyone blames Charlie Brown for losing the game, even though it was Lucy who played the dirty trick on Charlie Brown. And I think that particular Peanuts special is considered one of their worst ones. I haven't watched any of the Peanut specials in years. I saw a video that was ranking them, and I think that one was on the bottom or something. I'll just put Garfield up there. That's kind of strange to say there's a Garfield that exercises. Oh yeah, it's been a while since I saw the Peanuts movie. I forgot. Snoopy inflates himself. Yeah, and then I also got a Figment plushie, because I know that there are a lot of furries like Ellie Geckos that really, really like Figment. He, I think, yeah, it says on this tag. I'm afraid to remove the tag, because I don't know, this could be a collectible, maybe? Well, let's see if there's a copyright date. No, there is no copyright date. I guess I could just Google Figment plush, and someone on eBay will say how old this is. This looks like the plushie I have. I think Figment is supposed to be some sort of mascot for Disneyworld. Actually, wait, this isn't exactly the same, because I noticed the horns here are smooth, and this one's, they've got grooves, plus Figment's shirt, it's black text here, and then the picture here, it's red text. This looks kind of similar. That looks like a custom-made one. There's so much Figment merchandise here, you'd think that, I don't know, Figment was a character that appears in a lot of Disney cartoons, but as far as I know, I think he's only just a mascot in Disney World? I don't know. Maybe I'd have to ask someone in Ellie Geckos' in his group, and maybe there's someone that knows Figment lore better than I do, or obsessively collects plushies and dates all of them. This kind of looks like, no, the eyes are different on that one. Oh, wait. Okay, that actually looks like the one I own. I just want to know, what year is this? Is this from the 80s, the 90s, the 2000s? I don't know. What's this? Federal University of Agriculture. Well, let's see if the eggheads at this university know what year this is. Oh, it's just a bunch of shoes. Okay, never mind. Okay, never mind about that. I don't know what year this Figment plush comes from, but if anyone knows, I'd like to find out. But then here's another thing I bought. I don't know what this character is supposed to be. Does anyone recognize who this thing is supposed to be? He's got this little... I can make him... swing his arms. That's what it does, but... There's a reason I got this unusual looking character. Let me show something off. Let me get something really quick. and I'll explain why I got this odd figurine. Okay, the reason why I got that odd figurine, this is going to sound kind of weird. Now, last year I went to GalaxyCon, and you know, I've mentioned this comic before, Secret Wars, the 1984 Secret Wars, not the 2015 one, or the upcoming movie. But anyway, something really neat. I met the artist for Secret Wars, John Beatty, and since I have my own superhero dog character, Perry, I asked him advice on like what you know, would he have any pointers on, you know, like drawing a superhero dog character, and he said to make Perry more muscular. And I'm kind of sad to say that I kind of resisted when John Beatty suggested that. Like, I don't want Perry to be like a big, I don't want to make people think he's got superhero, like Superman levels of strength, but thinking about it, it's like, maybe just for fun I should try and, you know, do a version of Perry where he does look like much more muscular. And but with Perry's design, he's supposed to have like enlarged forearms and legs. Do I have a drawing of Perry I can show? I can show on my iPad. What am I thinking? Okay, so with my sun dog character Perry, I don't know if my iPad's gonna... He's supposed to have a ball of light in his hand, but it's kind of inspired by Mega Man and House Pets. His legs and his arms are kind of enlarged, so he has really big hands and big feet paws. And the reason I got this thing was to be a kind of a 3D reference for like drawing really, really big arms and big leg muscles, you know, just to get the proportions right. So if I want, like, I want to show Perry flexing, I can kind of, you know, I can Google like pictures of Arnold Schwarzenegger or other bodybuilders like with big muscular arms, but having something like this gives me at least a 3D reference I can look at, even if it's a toy. Just to give an idea of, like, you know, like, look at these thick guns. I also bought a lot of books. Yeah, some Garfield, old Garfield books. What's funny is a friend of mine showed me a meme of Garfield saying, "Fuck this, I'm out of here." And it was this picture, this picture of Garfield just jumping off the earth. And I was curious, where did that come from? And I found that it came from this book, Garfield in Space. And I think this also comes with a cassette tape to listen to. And it would have been recorded in the early 80s. And what's interesting is they have Lorenzo Music as the voice of Garfield, but John's voice is different. Let me look up John's voices. The guy that voiced John was Tom Hughey, I think his name was, on Garfield and Friends. The first time they were voiced was the Fantastic Funnies, where Garfield was voiced, I think, by a guy named Scott Beach. And the voice of John on Fantastic Funnies, it sounds like Tom Hughey, I'm not sure. But then they switched to someone else for Here Comes Garfield, his first TV special. That's where they got Lorenzo Music to voice Garfield. But for John, Sandy Kenyon was the voice of John, and weirdly he kind of looks a bit like John also, just a little older. And then for Garfield in Space, the audio tape had like a different voice, not Sandy Kenyon. It was like someone else voicing John, but they still had Lorenzo Music, and it's kind of strange. And then another book, Garfield the Pirate, and then Garfield the Knight in Shining Armor. And this is a book that has a, well, it says on the title page that this is supposed to have an audio tape with it. And so maybe if I search YouTube, I could find maybe a recording of I'm gonna guess it's probably Lorenzo Music mostly acting this out. Let me search Garfield the Knight in Shining Armor. Okay, this is interesting. Now, I didn't know that this book was as little as it was. Let's see if I can actually find that meme, Garfield saying, "Fuck this, I'm out of here." There it is. That's the meme I'm thinking of. Fuck this shit, I'm out of here. I was shown that, and then I found out it's a modification of this book cover. But what's strange, I wonder if there was like multiple versions of this book that came out. because I mean, here on the cover, here it's just a plain cover, 125 in the corner, that corner, Random House, and no kid stuff in the corner. But here the cover is different. They've got kid stuff in the corner, and then it says at the bottom, see the pictures here and read the story. So I guess there were maybe 2 versions of this book that came out. So this one without that had no audio recording or audio tape, and then this version did come with an audio tape. It's the same year though, 1983. And I don't know if it would be copyrighted or something. And another difference, just looking at the scans here, in the storybook, the no audio tape version, they have the text on one page and then an illustration on the other. Audio version of the book, they change it. It's less pages. They have the illustrations and the text at the bottom. You can hear John's different voice here. Even has like Garfield music.
John sent Garfield out to fetch the newspaper. Go fetch the newspaper, Garfield.
Work. That's all I do around here. And what thanks do I get?
A very different voice for John. It does not sound like Sandy Kenyon or Tom Hughey. Maybe the comments say who did the voice of John. Wait, Lorenzo Music was part of this! You can see I uploaded some comments here. I'm just trying to see if anyone mentions who voiced John here. I guess nobody. If anyone in the comments watching this knows who voiced John, I'm gonna be amazed that you just figured it out just listening to a few seconds of that. But I don't know if Garfield the Pirate has an audio tape, but let's see if I can find Garfield the Knight in Shining Armor. See if that has its audio tape on YouTube. And I see Garfield's Picnic Adventure in the corner here, right there. And I actually had that book as a kid and the audio tape, but the audio tape is now lost, so I just have the book. Official audio. Okay, so this is probably the version with the tape. I'm gonna silence that just, so there's no copyright. I don't know if anyone cares to I don't know, protect the copyright on a Garfield book that's been out of print for what, 30, almost 40 years now. That's how old this book would be. But I'll give this a listen later. I'm gonna guess that probably they got, it says Lorenzo Music and Unknown. Well, thank you to the voice of Unknown for, I guess, voicing the dragon in this book. Garfield the Knight in Shining Armor, and also Donald Duck in Shining Armor. Look at that. Yeah, I got 2 books on knights fighting dragons. But here's the thing, this book is in German, however, so I just got it because, the illustrations. If I wanted to read this, I just go to Google Translate or something. Ich werde dich mit Arbeit überhoffen, bis sich wieder erholt hat. That's Scrooge McDuck saying, I don't know what. Probably saying, stay the fuck out of my garden, maybe. Just trying to guess based on context or something. If I wanted to draw Disney-style dragons, I've got some good references here. It does kind of remind me of my Japanese dragon Basho, since he's also green. I'm gonna guess this is Dragon Gold in German or something. Let me just see what this says in Google Translate. This is Lustiges Tas. Oh, well, the dragon covers up. I'm gonna guess maybe it's Disney Magazine or something, or Disney Comics. Let's just, Lust, I just realized. Funny stuff, funny paperback. Bottom, I'm gonna guess it's Dragon Gold. Let's actually hear it pronounced.
Lustiges Taschenbuch, Drachengold.
Okay, so that's how I say it. Lustiges Taschenbuch. I'm not gonna even try and pronounce German. I'm sorry. I have an aunt that lived in Germany for a while, and she learned German. And the funny thing is, like, I think it was during a family trip to Alaska in 98 or 99 where I met this aunt, and one of my first questions for her was, hey, does German have swear words? And she's like, oh yes, Ficken and Shite. And that was the first time I learned that other languages have swear words. So I have a pretty cool aunt. Like, maybe I should show her this book, like, the next time I see her, and ask if she remembers enough German to read this, and maybe translate it for me. I don't know. I just flipping through, kind of a drawing that made me, oh shoot, where did I see it? It's like I saw a character that had like Garfield stripes on the back of their head, but they're yellow. Even when I'm reading something that isn't Garfield, I see Garfield. There we go. It's just a duck with a fancy hairdo, but it's like, it looks like Garfield stripes almost. Bought some old comic books as well. Like, I don't know, Fallen Angels. They don't look like angels to me. Something with Doctor Doom on it. I mean, they're going to do Avengers Doomsday pretty soon. I thought, get a Doctor Doom comic. And then, I don't know, Big Stompy Dragon. I bet Ben the Dragon would probably like this issue. I think that's all I got. There's like a bunch of other stuff I've gotten from flea markets that's pretty neat. I've shown these off a few times on Blue Sky. These Pogo figurines I have. I've got these like a year or two ago. I don't remember. Like the table I got these from, they also had a Howlin' Owl and Porcupine, but those figurines like weren't in very good condition, and I just went with these ones. The copyright date says 1969, so I'm gonna guess that maybe these were released to coincide with the Pogo birthday special that aired in 1969, a 2D animated special for Pogo's 20th anniversary. And one of the Pogo books I have says that Walt Kelly, Pogo's creator, basically really hated that special. I think they had a Chuck Jones from Looney Tunes as a supervisor animator or something, and I guess Walt Kelly wasn't very happy with his style or something. And so Walt Kelly tried to do his own animated project, Pogo, We Have Met the Enemy and He Is Us, which was going to be an environmentalist-themed cartoon. But unfortunately, Walt Kelly died before he could finish it. And if you go on Internet Archive, you can find like 2 versions of the short. Both of them are just really rough, but they have very nice illustrations by Walt Kelly. And I think his third wife, Selby, might have helped on it also. Is there anything else I bought from flea markets that I have in here? It's kind of neat to show off. Oh yeah, I think I mentioned before. Have I shown this off before on screen? I know I showed Wax Badger when he visited. My Snagglepuss animation cell that's signed by Bill Hanna and Joe Barbera. I got this at a different flea market, and the animation cell comes from Yogi Bear and the Magic Space, not Space, the Spruce Moose or something. It's some sort of magic airplane called a Spruce Moose. That's where the frame comes from. Yeah. Heavens, the Murgatroyd! Yeah, this was from another visit. Yeah, a bunch of comic book cards. Oops. Yeah, again, I just like to I just like the artwork on them. What drawing program do you use? I use Sketchbook Pro. I've also done GIMP, Photoshop. I use those 3 programs on my regular computer, and then on my iPad, I've got a Procreate. I used to animate in Adobe Flash before that was discontinued. You know, like one of these days, maybe I'll draw my characters in I don't know, like playing card style or something. Playing card, like trading card, I mean. There's Dr. Doom right there. I don't remember if I've shown this off before in a stream or not. This is a comic I got from the Alameda County Fair like a month or 2 ago. I just liked it because it just felt kind of funnily ironic. Where is it? Well, there's actually 2 covers that are kind of, I don't know, ironic. Let's see if I can find the other one. These 2 issues I got. Okay, comics I want to show off really quick. Yeah. Oh, thank you, Super Ultra Maru. Yeah, so anyway, this old Shang-Chi comic, like, I got this years before the movie and before I knew who Shang-Chi was supposed to be, but this was something one of my karate instructors as a kid gave me. And so it's kind of neat to find this, a little memento from when I took karate. But anyway, one of the comics I got at the Alameda County Fair was this. What if Doctor Doom became Sorcerer Supreme? I showed this to my friend Keyblade Raccoon. He told me, oh, that's the storyline they're doing right now, where Doctor Doom becomes Sorcerer Supreme. So it's like, now this issue is canon. And then the other one that, the other cover I thought was really ironic. Ta-da! Yeah. Iron Man and Doctor Doom on the same cover. Both actors, both characters that are going to be played by Robert Downey Jr. So, kind of crazy. Having her eyes misaligned. Suddenly I'm thinking of like a particular Garfield meme. Oh, speaking of Garfield, they showed Andrew Garfield. Garfield eyes meme. There's a certain meme where Garfield goes wall-eyed or something. There we go. That's it. Googly-eyed Garfield. It's a strange subtrope of Garfield parodies where Garfield stares at John with misaligned eyes, and then John's eyes go misaligned. And I see a particular image that I probably should not show on Twitch. Big fat hairy deal. Yeah. There we go. I'm wearing sacred Garfield robes. And not the robes that Peter the Cat wears, my own set of Garfield robes. Here, let's have representations of all the theatrical Garfield movies with me. Right here. We got 2004 Garfield, 2006 Garfield, although while this is called, I think this Beanie Baby is called His Majesty, I like to kind of think of it as Prince from Garfield 2, A Tale of Two Kitties, and of course Chris Prattfield, which is what my jammies here symbolize. Oh, and I also have Baby Garfield. Yeah, Baby Garfield's in the movie for like 5-10 minutes and, gets a ton of merchandise. This is Garfield in his larval state. You have to feed him a lot of lasagna to get him to become this. And what I find funny, let me look up the ugly Garfield doll. Not those plushes. Those ones look nice. The one that's like a meme. This one. Yeah, what's funny is that you compare the ugly bootleg Garfield plush to the official ones for the 2004 and 2006 movies, and it's like, I don't know, they look very similar. I'm gonna guess that ugly Garfield plush is like probably supposed to be a bootleg of one of these. I mean, the resemblance is kind of very, very similar. Yet trying to get around copyright, just saying it's an ugly fat cat plush. And then what the hell is this here? They just put the eyes on the ears. Okay, well, what's this here? Is this like, oh, they made little costumes for it? Why is Ed Sheeran there? They just randomly put his face next to Garfield. Is Ed Sheeran like, is he like a Garfield fan or something? Or is it just because, I don't know, he's got, reddish hair. It makes people think Garfield's orange fur or something. I don't know. And I see that people dress them up very differently. There's Boogie, what's his name, and what's this guy's name again? Phalis, or is it something else? I know he was formerly part of Channel Awesome. Let's play with the German here. Butt ugly Garfield doll.
Potthässliche Garfield-Puppe.
Okay, this is probably, an awkward machine translation, but I don't know. If you want to say you have a butt ugly Garfield doll, there it is in German. Or maybe I own a butt ugly Garfield doll.
Ich besitze eine potthässliche Garfield-Puppe.
Yeah, if there's anyone that's fluent in German, maybe you could like get a much more coherent sentence that's not obviously Google translated. Just this weird vacant blank stare.